So I get emails all the time from people saying, "Hey, David, I'm working on this file, working on this project, etc. Can you help me out?" Of course I can. I'm going to get into it today. I'm David C. Barnett, and you're tuned in to Small Business and Deal Making, the podcast, YouTube channel, and blog where I talk about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium-sized businesses while controlling risk. So if you're looking to take control of your future through buying a business one day, or if you already own a business and you're looking to grow or exit, you've come to the right place. I talk about interesting things, I talk to interesting people, and I answer your questions every week right here. So be sure to hit like and be sure to hit subscribe, and let's get to it. Are you thinking of growing your business or beginning a journey into entrepreneurship? Take a shortcut to success by buying an existing and profitable business the right way. Visit businessbuyeradvantage.com and learn more about my online training, group coaching, and consulting services designed to help you win. Hey there, everyone. As I said there before the starting, I get emails all the time and comments and videos, etc., from people asking me if I can help them out with something that they're working on. And the answer is yes. But I realized that for a long time, maybe not ever, I haven't really made a video talking about my own business and what I do in my business and how the current iteration of my business came to be and how and why the different services that I offer have been structured because it's not haphazard. It was all part of a plan. In fact, I can still remember the day I was sitting down in a cafe and I had a notebook and I drew these long sort of flow chart type things of the journey that I would take customers through in my business. And it took several years, but I eventually built these different flows out to be able to serve people. And that I've continued to iterate, modernize, and change them over the course of time. So first of all, my business. So my business isn't David. It's not a sole proprietorship. In fact, the date that is important is April the 18th, 2006. April the 18th, 2006 was the day that I officially incorporated Advantage Liquidity Partners Limited, and that's incorporated here in New Brunswick, Canada. And that business was created originally to be a broker of commercial debt solutions. And so when I talk often about my history, I'll talk about how I used to broker commercial debt. So, and that's why it's named the way it is, right? Liquidity has to do with access to cash, having liquid funds, right? And the partners was aspirational that one day that there would be a whole bunch of us working in the business. And so over the course of time, that particular corporation has grown and evolved. And I left the finance brokerage industry around the time of the great financial crisis and all the problems that happened then. And that same corporation ended up being the corporation within which I did my business brokerage, and then eventually bought the business brokerage office that I was in, and then got out of business brokerage while continuing to do work as a machinery and equipment appraiser, which is something I started while I was doing business brokerage. And then over the course of me exiting business brokerage, that's when I worked for American Express. I had a 4-year career with them. This corporation still functioned in the background. It was still alive. There were still certain aspects of business that had to continue to go on, even though I was working for Amex. And then when I took the opportunity to leave Amex and build the business in its current iteration, the same corporation evolved to do that as well. And so, what exactly do I do today? Well, there's 4 distinct buckets. So, number one, my business is a consulting business. Okay. So, consulting is doing work for people who lack the expertise, knowledge, experience, etc., to do that specific work. It's different than, for example, coaching, right? Where a coach can, help you identify goals, help you identify a plan. At the end of the day, you're the expert. They're helping to sort of form or shape the way that you're going to do something. A consultant is someone that you bring in to solve a problem for you. So, but not to say that I don't sometimes, kind of cross that line into coaching as well with clients. So basically, there's consulting and working with buyers. That's bucket number one. Consulting and services for business sellers. That's bucket number two. There's machinery and equipment appraisal. That's bucket number 3. And then there's education, which is bucket number 4. So those are the 4 buckets. So if you want to imagine a matrix, we have those 4 columns, then across we've got 3 different categories or levels of service. So, and these would be very common to a lot of different companies out there. If you're going to think about the way you're organizing your business, you might want to think along the lines of these 3 things, which is do it yourself, done with you, or done for you. Okay. So, what does that allow? It allows me to use a marketing platform like YouTube or social media to talk to people about pretty broad topics that have to do with buying, selling, financing, managing businesses, but that topicality is going to draw different people into my social media context, let's call it. And then when people need services that have to do with these 4 different categories, then it's a matter of people choosing which lane they want to be in. So, for example, consulting with buyers. So, couple different things that can happen. So, do it yourself. So, there's plenty of people who take my online training program, Business Buyer Advantage. They learn a whole bunch of stuff from that program, and they just execute what they learned in the program. They go off and they do a deal, and I never hear from them. And so sometimes I know people do this because sometimes I do hear from them, or they'll email me and they'll say, "Hey, David, I just bought this business. Thanks so much for creating that program." Right. So that's a completely do it yourself. The done with you version of that would be the Business Buyer Advantage group coaching program, where there's people in that group that are actively searching, talking with sellers, talking with brokers, talking to bankers, etc. And they want somebody to go through that journey with them. And it's me helping them on that journey as well as the other people in the group, right? So it's people doing it together. And some people really thrive and really benefit and appreciate that sort of added comfort of having someone along for the ride as they go through that process. And then the done for you example of buyer consulting services would be the buyer insight analysis, where me and it's not just me, I've got some other people on the team as well. We will actually analyze a business through different tools and frameworks that I've built and show people what we think the business is worth and what some reasonable first offers might be. And if you go over to businessbuyeradvantage.com, there's you can literally follow this down the page, because literally the page businessbuyeradvantage.com flows through those different things. So the very first thing it'll tell you to do is to read certain of my books or watch certain playlists of videos, all for free. And that is the part of the do it yourself. And then people who consume the online content that they can have for free, if they say, yeah, I really want to do this, then the next step is that Business Buyer Advantage online training. And then the next step is the done with you, the group coaching. And then down at the very bottom of that page, you'll find a video that explains the buyer insight analysis. And that one is often done by people who say, I don't want to do it myself or with someone. I just want it done for me. They go right to the very bottom. So that sort of matrix framework kind of outlines this. When it comes to sellers, the exact same thing exists, except it's over at howtosellmyownbusiness.com. And if you go over to that website, it's just like Business Buyer Advantage, but it's all framed within the context of speaking to someone who's a business owner. So it's the same kind of thing. At the very top, it says, here are the free resources that you can go through to learn more about selling your business. And then there's an online training. There is no group program for people that are doing this, but I do get into the evaluation, the preparation of the package for presenting to buyers. And then part of the services that we offer is online marketing. So we'll help that person find a buyer. And then at the very bottom, there is a complete sort of done for you package, which in a lot of ways kind of mirrors some of the services that business brokers would do, but it's paid for and managed in a very different way. And so same kind of idea, do it yourself, done with you, or done for you with respect to consulting services for people that want to sell a business. The the equipment appraisal is very much more of a sort of regional service. So a lot of the times we have to go out and view the equipment, take photographs, record serial numbers, that kind of thing. So while I do mention it on this YouTube channel from time to time, it's not really something I promote on this YouTube channel. In fact, the company has an entirely different YouTube channel that just has to do with machinery and equipment appraisal. And so over there, done for you is what we do for the banks, basically. They want to have an opinion of value, an appraisal on machinery and equipment that they might be making loans on. Uh, and there's other users too. There's sometimes we do them for bankruptcy trustees. Sometimes we do them for landlords who want to evaluate equipment that's been seized when a lease was terminated, for example. All kinds of different scenarios. We do the full service where we go out and record information about the equipment, but we also have what's called a desktop appraisal service. And sometimes the lender is okay with somebody else submitting photos and information to us. And so this happened a lot actually over the COVID period when there were travel restrictions and all kinds of other things about, um, visiting businesses and strangers within 6 feet and all that kind of stuff. So that's the machinery and equipment appraisal. And then the last column would be education. And so, I already mentioned a couple of the education things that I do. So the Business Buyer Advantage online training and then the online training program for sellers would be examples of education, sort of self-serve education. But I also do workshops live in person. I do online training specifically to certain groups. So I've done these, for example, with mastermind groups. I've done them for economic development agencies where I will go and travel and have a room full of people that I will talk with. My books would be an example of the education products that we do. And so those are sort of the categories. To kind of put a bow on the whole thing, some people just want to talk to me. They just want to have like a 40-minute or a 70-minute call over Zoom, where we just look at a file together or we look at a sim together, or they bounce some ideas off of me with respect to their business and how they want to, get it prepared for sale, or, how they can position it to better allow their manager to become the buyer or something like that. And so I do that too. And that's, you can get the booking links. They're actually down in the bottom of every one of my videos. It's calldavidbarnett.com. It's pretty easy to remember. Calldavidbarnett.com will bring you right to a spot on my blog site where you can book direct calls with me, and we can do them over Zoom, or if you want to do over the telephone, there's a by the minute service called clarity.fm. Somebody just left my 200th written review. I've been doing Clarity calls since 2012. And so I just got my 200th written review. And if you're worried that a call with me won't be worth your time, just spend some time reading the reviews, see what other people say. But to answer the question, and I do appreciate it every time someone reaches out and wants to get a hold of us and talk with us about any project. To answer the question, yeah, I can help you with your project. That's what I do. That's my business. This YouTube channel is strictly a marketing outlet meant to create demand for my products and services and keep us all working, just like any business. So if you didn't know before, by tuning into this channel, you are entirely subjecting yourself to advertising. Anyway, I hope that is insightful to some of you. If you own a business where you similarly help people in consulting or whatever, maybe that what I've done can help to inform how you want to change or grow your business. And if you have any questions, send us a line or just pop them down below in the commentary. More than happy to have a conversation with any of you about how my business functions. And with that, I'll see you later. And there was a video that I made last year. Maybe we'll put a link to it here about the marketing funnel of my business, which if you're interested in how my business functions, you might want to check out that video as well. Anyway, thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. So, how can you learn more about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium-sized businesses? Easy. Go over to my blog site, davidcbarnett.com, where you can learn more about me and how I work with my clients. You can learn more about my books and courses that I've prepared for you. You can find out how to subscribe to my email list, the YouTube playlists, and more. There's literally hundreds of hours of content there, all for free, and I'd love for you to be my guest. Special thanks go to Mark Willis at Lake Growth Financial, today's video sponsor. Mark helps people better manage their personal and business finances through the Bank on Yourself insurance strategy. This is something I've done personally and I've seen others use it successfully for years. Go to newbankingsolution.com to find all the interviews I've done with Mark and learn more about the advantages of these programs. While there, sign up for a free consultation to learn what this solution might look like for you.